to you on this presentation. So we'll get started, and I just want implementation plan. And so can you believe it? We are now at the end of this implementation cycle. I know you all still have time to finish up with your assessment and reporting, but we just wanted to take a moment to recognize that this is our last our last set meeting for this year. So again, our school engagement team meetings have been very, very appreciated, and we are really excited for where we're going to move forward next year. So we just want to say congratulations, great job. It's been so important to have you as part of this journey and supporting new curriculum within your schools. And a reminder, your role is as connectors essential to this implementation plan, and a huge reason why this has been as successful as it has been with the scale that we've been working with. Supporting 99 schools is no simple task. And so being able to create this network of communicators, of people that can be key contacts at each of the schools has been just really, really positive. So just once again, thank you for that work. And we know much of it has been quite organic, which is a reality of our context. We have to sort of find those ways in which to integrate a lot of information in a short period of time, but we also, hopefully you feel you have autonomy over where you feel is most important. Because like I've always said, new curriculum is like a buffet where we can't do everything at once. We will really make ourselves very, very full. So we want to make sure that we're being really intentional about where and how we can help to support this, because we're playing a long game here. It's not a one and done. Curriculum is curriculum, and we'll continue to support that work in moving forward, and we know that you will as well. So a heads up, what does next year look like for school engagement team meetings? I've decided that there will be no in-person school engagement team meetings next year. Instead, we are going to do 4 virtual set meetings. So I know the first year, if you're a part of implementation, we did more in person with a few virtual. This year, we did a few less in person and more virtual. And then next year, we're moving to virtual. We know oftentimes at this point, you've got that foundational information around the curriculum and key resources. So it's just now a matter of keeping you up to date on the things that are new and changing. And so we will still need to have a set admin. So I will keep the set admin reps the same. I do have some lists of some of the school changes, but we can fine tune that in the new year. And then we still will need a K-3 and a 4-6 teacher rep to attend those 4 divisional specific virtual meetings. The sessions, as always, will be recorded. We know that sometimes life needs to be prioritized, and that's important. So always our sessions are recorded, posted on our NCIS site, and also sent to our set admin reps for sharing and sending out further to the set reps and teachers. So that just has been a really great model and so appreciated in that support. So next year, here is what I've set up. In August, we'll be offering an optional for new administrators, or if there's people in the school who want to be part of this fund. This will be geared toward new principals, new APs, people who are maybe coming from a different division, who just want to get a bit of a boot camp, NCIS style boot camp. And so August 22nd, we'll be having at 11 a.m. an optional admin session where I will, and the consultants will provide a bit of a, hey, did you know, getting you started, getting you oriented. And then but that's totally optional. We're just offering that as a support. The 4 implementation set rep meetings are going to be September 25th, November 27th, February 26th, and May 28th. I picked the last Wednesday of each of those months, and we're going to make it division specific. So what that means, some of the feedback we've heard, and again, we're always reviewing your feedback at the end of our meetings, was it's really great when we have it divisionally, so that information can be focused in on what is most recent, most current for that group. And so we'll start with 3:30 to 4:30 will be our K to 3 and admin rep meetings, and then our 4 to 6 will, from 4:15 to 5 o'clock, will be our 4 to 6 teachers and admin reps. So we're kind of dividing it out into 2 45-minute sessions instead of this longer hour and a half. And then we'll repeat it, but this time we'll flip. We'll do 4 to 6 from 3:30 to 4:15, and then K to 3, 4:15 to 5, just to give some flexibility for those that want to get home to be part of this, or staying a bit at the school. So, and then we'll do the same thing February 26th, and then we'll flip for May 28th. So again, set admins would be part of the full meeting, but then we would have divisional specific reps sort of getting that timely, important reminder, refresher type of information that we know is always coming our way with new curriculum from Alberta Ed and from the work we're doing with resource procurement. So we want to be able to provide you the key updates so that you can then disseminate that information to your schools. So some startup considerations. So in previous years past, the first year of implementation, we did two half-day PG sessions live with our team. This year we did one half-day live PG sessions. And again, as you're becoming more familiar, teachers are becoming more familiar with this implementation with curriculum. On August 26th, and that's the Monday before the PG days start, principals will receive 2 PD recordings to be used at any time during those sort of 3-4 PG days when teachers come back. So that information will come directly from my director, Helmut Kaiser, as is always, to the elementary principals, letting you know that these are the recordings. And they'll be max 45 minutes. Again, a lot can still happen between now and September. We want to make sure you have the most recent information. And so we will be providing curriculum updates, reminders, and resources in a 30 to 45-minute video. So it'll be important that administrators, as you're planning your startup, to please schedule an hour and a space for this to happen in grade or division level teams. This is something we want teachers coming together for, because there's so many pieces that each teacher has to contribute and collaborate and make sense of as you're moving forward with new curriculum. And then we as an elementary team, we will provide live support on those 3 days, the 27th, 28th, and the 30th. So that from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. each of those days. So if anyone has questions, you can just hop on, and we will make sure that we have that link communicated out to the principals when we share out those recordings on the 26th. Now I saw a hand up. We're just asking you to please put your questions in the chat. And then if I do need you to unmute, I'll do that if I need to make more sense of it, okay? So 23, 24, the first thing we're kind of going to talk about is the screeners and the intervention funding. We are so grateful for this funding because we've been able to provide 4 intervention cycles, 6 weeks long. 81 schools have received intervention teacher support in 1 or more of those 6-week cycles. The 15 schools that didn't receive intervention had received full day optional PG for a teacher and DLCT. We've had about 2,300 students participate in intervention, which is incredible. Really focusing in on those 20 targeted lessons for those foundational literacy skills that now are part of new curriculum, but were new to many of us because it wasn't previously in new curriculum. So we're seeing this bridge now between new curriculum and intervention that we are trying to integrate within the work, because it is the work. We have had about 125 grade 1 and 2 teachers who came to our full day PG sessions to look at universal strategies using data to target instruction. We've had all schools have received a binder with lessons, numeracy games, and numeracy kits. So DLCTs have those resources. And we just want to remind you, we hope you know where your kit is, because that is to be used. And then we have more exciting news to share later on by the math consultants. So again, this is familiar to most of our DLCTs and principals, but we did want to make sure that you are aware our K to 3 grade 1 to 3 are making sure that any new or at-risk students are being assessed, probably in process right now. And then any grade 4s who received intervention pullout are also being assessed, and that information is entered. I won't go into lots of detail because we spent a lot of time with our DLCTs on this, and I know you're on it. Our Division 1 teachers are here with us today. So big thank you. This was a huge shift from having to assess all students to really now at the end of the year, just assessing at-risk students. So why literacy intervention? Why are we doing this? And the reason it's important with new curriculum is it's like the peanut butter and jelly. It goes together because what the screeners do is they provide the foundation for the curriculum, right? And it's sort of this back and forth of assessment. And so the early years screening gives a snapshot of whether the children's development is on track. It's based on Alberta norms, which means it's providing us with contextualized student learning comparisons, not American or Australian, which we often see, which sometimes don't really relate because contexts are very different. They're intended to be ongoing assessment. We know that ongoing assessment is critical for identifying student learning gaps in a really systematic way so that over time we can address through universal strategies as well as targeted intervention. And again, these assessments can be used for grade 4+. And again, just reach out to the consultants. If you're curious about how to use that with your Division 2, then please reach out to the elementary at cssd.ab.ca, and we'll be more than happy to share with you our thinking around that. It's important to note this is not a student achievement exam, and it's not a reflection of teacher instruction. It's a tool that's intended to support us in having some really specific foundational understanding of where a student is at. So please don't feel the pressure. I've got to get it done. What's more important is the information that comes out of it. So we're really trying to shift the perspective around these screeners from I have to do them to oh my gosh, I get to do them, and they're going to help me because I'm able to start screening and thinking about where a student might be at. It's part of your triangulation. It's a product. It's a formalized assessment, but certainly conversations and observations play an important role in that. And we recognize that data-informed or assessment-informed practice is tricky business. We have grappled ourselves with the screeners specifically, assessments in general, and trying to sort of flesh out which ones are going to help support you and where the focus might be for next steps, right? So the ideas of the sessions around got data, now what, has been our mantra this year, because data is only one piece of the bigger teaching and learning cycle. And so when you're using data, thinking about how can this inform my practice? How does this help me to take some of that guessing game out of the work that I'm doing? But it is tricky, and we wanted to acknowledge that. So with the screeners, teachers in grade 1 to 3, and even more so, can kind of, if you want to get a sort of a sense of how these screeners are used and interpreted, we had a conversation, the consultants and I had a conversation about it. So you can take a look at this video and just sort of start to grapple with this concept of evidence-informed, data-informed practice. The slides are also linked here for just a quick view. It's really intended to our grade 1 to 3 and 4 teachers. But DLCTs, principals, you may find this helping to try to really start thinking about how data can be used to help guide our instruction and our school plans. Because we know that at the heart of our work as professionals is the quality standard. So both for teaching and leadership, we know that the way that it is defined is that our responsibility is to, and the unique nature we bring to the work as professional is that ongoing analysis of our context, and then making decisions about which of the pedagogical knowledge and abilities to apply in order to achieve optimum learning for students. And that is at all levels of the quality standards. And so the more we can kind of think about what are we doing and why, and how do we know that will help to sort of guide us in our next steps. because as we've looked at being really intentional about being data informed in our practice, you can see from this slide, and this is only from our first 3 cycles from our intervention program, that students in the non-word outcome, which is what we focused on, being really intentional about some specific lessons around a specific gap area with certain students, we were able to see with 1,800 students participating, a growth or improvement noted in it by at least 65–70% of our students achieved progress, more so than they had at the beginning of the year. And this is not just because of intervention, this is also because of the work that you're doing in schools. So we did a similar comparison with from the beginning of the year. This past one was the one specific with pre and post of intervention. And then this one was based on the long-term, the original assessment data, and now where they are now in relation to grade level norms. And you see similar, right? You see this slightly above was 8.6%, 18.9% were above, and then 47% were significantly above. So with really targeted intentional intervention, we can see some significant improvement. Again, we don't know how this is going to translate in the overall screeners and the scope of things, but we're excited to see where the results from this work comes out after these grade 1 to 3 screeners happen at the end of May, and then we'll see those results early June. So the question is, what is a small thing that we can do to start using data-informed practice? And how will we know that it's working? The biggest thing I hear from teachers in doing this work over a number of years is, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. There's so many ways we can move forward. And we felt that too. When we were looking at all the screener data and where were we going to start, we started with one small area. And then we saw now that sort of that echo effect happening and that transfer that we hope is going to happen as we move forward with other things like irregular words and regular words. And so it's being really intentional and mindful about that one thing, and then build that thinking of starting small, using data-informed practice, and then thinking about how you know it's working. And then just a reminder that even on the hard days, you are changing someone's life and helping them find their place in this crazy world. And the intangibles of teaching is the fact that if you affect 3,000 students over the course of your career. And so when you think about it, your impact is exponential over time. So when we think about data-informed practice, really being mindful and intentional about those small steps that you may think are not going to make a difference, they certainly do make a difference in the scope of over time. And when we look at foundational literacy and numeracy skills, you are giving such an important gift to students to having addressed those foundational key pieces that are going to then integrate out into the other content areas. So huge thank you. If there are any questions or comments about that, please continue to put them in the chat, and the consultants are quickly answering those behind the scenes, so thank you. So new curriculum resources. We have just wanted to give you a few reminders that the all-in-ones have been updated. So if you recall on the NCIS site, the all-in-ones was sort of our anchor chart for a grade 1 teacher of all of the resources that not have just been purchased, but have also created to support teachers, like the overview, the curriculum guide, the planning tools and templates, the resources and professional growth opportunities, as well as assessment and reporting connections. So everything is updated on the NCIS site on all-in-one that captures sort of, it's like the anchor chart for the teacher, okay? We're starting to build those out for Div 2 in the new curriculum areas, but we want to bring you back to the importance of those all-in-ones that are there, so please make sure your teachers are aware of all of those. We also have compiled a huge thank you to the consultants for pulling this together in short order. This is now posted on our NCIS site on the front cover on the home page, where we have collated by grade the reference for the resources that have been purchased. We know that some schools have the opportunity to purchase different resources. And so they're linked on there for you if they're recommended, if the district is going to be purchasing for you. So this is your go-to before you order a resource for new curriculum. Okay, things are changing all the time. I'll talk about that a little bit around digital licensing, but we want you to make sure that you check here first. So administrators or set reps, if your admin is not here, please make sure you draw their attention to this particular resource, because we wouldn't want you to buy stuff and then find out that it's being purchased for you, or we wouldn't want you to go purchase something that we're not recommending because it's not maybe aligned anymore. So please do know that this is a reference guide for you to use, and we've done it again by grade, trying to, again, really be specific about supporting schools and teachers as they navigate through next steps. The other thing we know is the new curriculum is supported by these two foundational provincial resources, the newlearnalberta.ca and arpdc.ab.ca. New Learn Alberta is going to continue housing resources as they procure them on the New Learn Alberta site. Sometimes they put stuff there and we don't even know. So please check back. If you're looking for something and you feel, oh, I wonder, before you go purchase or ask for it, go look and see what's there already. Because things like the book flicks are there, and things like the little book digital, even though we have digital licensing or district licensing, there's resources on there for you. And the ARPDC has been paid by Alberta Education to build out resources and supports for teachers. So again, these are two key provincial resources for you to come back to before you purchase anything that, you know, recommended on that list. Some gems, we talked about this last time, but I just wanted to put this as a reminder. If you are linking things from New Learn Alberta for home use, then you want to make sure you use that username and password, because that's what teachers will need, or sorry, students and parents will need to log on to access those documents, those resources on the New Learn Alberta site. And then our IMC team wanted me also just to give a little bit of a shout out here that the district IMC also collates resources for schools, and they bookmarked them. They bookmark them here. If you go on your browser on a school computer, on a district computer, you'll see CSSD bookmarks on the left-hand side, which has all those shortcuts. And they've got things like Curia, which we know is all of those videos, right? Student curated videos. Sora, which is digital books. Tumble Books, Teen Book Cloud. So lots of resources are there free. Not free, the district has purchased them on behalf of schools and teachers. So please make sure that those are referenced as well as resources. So some curriculum spotlights and updates now. I'm going to pass it over to, first up, science.
Hello, everyone. This is Jolene. I just wanted to give you a little heads up for K-3 teachers of what we've been working on, and then speak a little bit about what's coming for grades 4 to 6. Thank you. Our K-3 all-in-one transition guide has been updated for the most part. We're still working on a couple of items to include on there as well, but they will be there shortly, so you can have a look and look what's there. They'll also be on the NCIS site though. Our resource boards are all there for your use for K-3 students, or sorry, teachers. They are all there. And then we've also included on our NCIS site some examples of lesson plans that showcase how to use the resource boards and all of the resources that can be found on them. Okay. One thing we're adding is a K-3 Science September Startup Kit. This kind of goes through some of your most common back to school activities and showcases how we could include or incorporate the scientific method as well as computer science, and get started with that right away even before we get into science, really. That's coming soon. I'll pass it on to Doreen for a minute to talk about the stepping into science.
Great, thank you, Julie. All right, so in addition to all the resources that Jolene just mentioned for K-3, teachers from the 4 Alberta Metro boards have been working on creating a new resource called Stepping into Science Alberta. Our school district currently has 35 K-3 field testers who have been implementing lessons from this resource in their classrooms, and then providing Edmonton Public, who's taking the lead on this development of the resource, with valuable constructive feedback to encourage and give them some feedback on how to revise the resource. Jolene and I have had also the opportunity to visit some of the classes and take part in the implementation of some of these lessons. And the overall feedback has been positive. The resource incorporates universal design for learning, framework, teacher toolkits, assessment strategies, as well as embedded slide decks and videos for teachers to use. Our field testers are now completing their feedback submissions for the third and final cycle of field testing, which ends this Friday. And the Stepping into Science resource will be made available to all K-3 teachers this fall. We've already had questions regarding the 4 to 6 resource, and we anticipate a similar field test project for the upcoming year for Division 2 teachers, with their resource coming out in 2025. But we will have more information on that this fall.
Thanks. Great. Thanks, Doreen.
Okay, thank you. Our science big rocks have changed slightly for grades 4 to 6. We've modified them. So in 4 to 6, we'll focus on thinking like a scientist, students experiencing like a scientist, and then getting students to design like a scientist. Okay, how you roll out the organizing ideas in your class is up to you. However, if you follow us, this is how we're going to be rolling out anything we create. So we are encouraging you to integrate computer science and scientific method throughout all of the organizing ideas. So to maybe touch on those at the beginning of the year, just to kind of get those foundations started, and then go into matter, energy, space, living systems, and earth systems. Again, it's totally up to you. This is just optional, but this is how we will be rolling out any of the resources that we have. Our community of practice teams have already met a couple of times, and we're busy creating materials for your use this fall. The all-in-one transition guide is nearly complete. And then also we've been working on the resource boards for 4 to 6 as well. So once we have those ready, they will be posted on our NCIS site. For those of you not familiar in 4 to 6 with the resource boards, here you can find links to mentor texts, videos, STEM activities, field trips, kind of anything that we can find that is applicable to that organizing idea will be here on the resource board. And it also includes things like lesson plans and things from ARPDC and CRC. So it's a very valuable tool. And we are also creating the planning and assessment documents, the reflection guides. Those will be available for you as well, and they will be also on the NCIS site. Okay. Coming soon for K to 6 classes would be book bundles. These book bundles highlight all of the different organizing ideas, and they are going to be coming to each school in the fall, and we will give you more information on how to kind of store these and how to use them within your classes. And the other program that we're looking at is Honor the Work. It's STEAM activities, and this is for for grade 1 to 6. But again, both of these, more information will be coming about them in the fall. We currently have a few schools participating in a science storage room pilot project on how to best organize science supplies for the new curriculum. So depending on the school and their space and the supplies that they have, these piloting schools are testing out a bucket system, a pantry style, and then we have a school that has both a pantry and a bucket system. And so our goal here is to get all of the data and the feedback that they've given to us, and then put it out for you when you're considering how to store your supplies as well, because ultimately this is a school-based decision. but we can provide some guidance on different materials that you might want to include and how to organize them with the new curriculum. But just in the meantime, please do not throw anything out, because all of those supplies probably can still be used in one way or another. So just hold tight on that. And then this fall, we have some grade-specific science PG sessions planned for grade 4, 5, and 6. So you can watch for that in the LS Weekly. The program I mentioned earlier about Honor the Work for grade 1 to 6 will also be providing some PG sessions around that. The walking curriculum and stepping into science once we know more about when that is coming. That is all for science for now.
Thanks so much. On to ELAL.
Thank you so much. So just reminding you about our big rocks, the mentor text, the literacy box, and the comprehensive literacy. I'm Kimberly, and I'm here with Camille. So just wanted to provide you with some hot tips. I know we're always busy, but ARPDC has just, they keep blowing me away with their fantastic resources. So just wanted to let you know, so you go on the ARPDC website, so the website's there, and then you go to curriculum resources, and then you'll toggle down to the ELAL. And so then once you are there, you can search by grade level, any type of resource, or if there's something specific you're looking for, poetry, for example, you can put it into the keyword search. But I just wanted to highlight this resource for grades 4 to 6. So this is for very specific genre types that are in our new curriculum. So you will see there is, this will pop up. It's not new anymore. There's actually more new, but this is a little bit down, but it will be bookshelves of all these different genre types. And so things like, if you're looking for those trickster tales or poetry, are different, like myths and legends, for example. And so you'll see this is an example of a trickster tale bookshelf. And so they'll have different picture books and then different novels that you could use to address those very specific genre types that are in the curriculum. They do not have links to the specific books, but I have found some of the picture books, for example, on YouTube, but they do give you information about where you could maybe find those books. But it's a fantastic way to kind of look at those specific genre types.
Great, thanks, Kim. And so just looking at the 9 organizing ideas that span across K to 6 for ELAL, the curriculum builds on skills built in previous grades, which is actually kind of helpful for teachers meeting the needs of our diverse learners. And then just looking at our vocabulary word curriculum progression using Miriam Ramsey and Michelle Bent's reading layers. If you're looking at the word study, typically kids progress this way. They'll go through the alphabet layer, learning their one-to-one correspondence, consonant digraphs, and consonant blends. So to help with that, we've purchased Haggerty, so to help with the phonemic awareness. And then along with that, you're also building the phonics companion, which also goes into the pattern layer. And then to help with the meaning layer, further to the word study program, we also bought the blue book, which is, I struggle with this word, generational. Thank you, Kim. The book just to help support with that part of the curriculum.
And I'm going to just add in, and we are also going to be purchasing the UFly manuals for all of our grade 1 teachers as well, because we've heard that it's got a little bit more of that structured literacy approach to it, and a bit more of that guided, especially if you're new to teaching this in Division 1. So more to come. That's why you got to keep coming to our set meetings, because there's going to be more coming. As we learn more about this curriculum and we learn more about what's working with teachers and where we can continue to build on, again, we have a wonderful opportunity to be able to do so. So I want to keep talking to us, keep sharing your perspectives, because we want to keep providing support the best we can for you.
And just a reminder that we moved from balanced literacy to comprehensive literacy, the 3 pillars of reading. So we still have oral reading, reading, and writing, and we just need to be very cognizant that we're doing that explicitly and systematic, going from simple to complex. And a reminder that the Phonics Companion does have a scope and sequence that's housed in the NCIS, but will be moving to EPD. But that teachers have support in teaching phonics with the Phonics Companion and now with UFly as well. That will be coming.
Lots of comments in the chat, Camille. I
Yes,
think
the-
we're on the right track.
Good job.
Just keep talking to us, keep
Yeah.
sharing and being transparent and communicating with us, because like I say, we have an opportunity here, and the next slide is a little bit more exciting stuff. You ready?
Yes. And so just with, things change and people are, where a lot of people were asking about reading A to Z and RAS Kids. And we found a program that is a little bit better for foundational skills, and it's called Reading Eggs. And so it looks like we're under review for district purchase. So not quite a done deal yet, but grades 1 to 3, and then possibly grade 4 kids at risk. And so Reading Eggs is about the grade 1 to 3. And then there's something called Fast Phonics, which is for the older grades. And then the Reading Express is it just allows kids to read books that match at their level. So it is adaptive technology. So it does test the kids and kind of see where they're at, and then starts to help fill in the gaps for those kids. And then the teachers will have access to a dashboard so that they can monitor kids as well to see how they're doing, and then use that information to help them in the classroom as well. Because let's use the technology that's out there.
And if anyone's using Reading Eggs, if you could put in the chat what your thoughts are around it, that would be really helpful too.
We had a chat. One kid in the grade 1 teachers expect to receive the UFly. We haven't purchased them yet, so time, but there'll be PG around it as well. But yeah, we're working on it. We're happy you're excited about that. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Our goal is for it to be received in the summer and then out to schools first thing, because we want you to be able to start quickly. And we know you have Phonics Companion to do that, and you have those companion slides that are working groups built out for you. But we also know that the UFly just brings it to that next level. So we will do our best to get that to our grade 1 teachers sooner than later. It is just quite a process on our end at this scale, but we'll do our best.
And then for grades 4 to 6, we haven't left you out. We're looking at Lit Pro Library, which is more focused on that comprehension, but it also has that adaptive technology where you get to give your kids an assessment and it'll adapt as it goes along. And so kids will be reading at their level. And again, the teacher will have access to a teacher dashboard. And the awesome thing about this is it talks about all the different comprehension strands and the strategies that you need to, and it'll flag kids and you can see what's going on, so that you maybe know all kids are having trouble with synthesizing. So you can pull a little group and talk to them about how do you build that synthesizing strategy. And it's not just multiple choice. I was doing some of the assessments today, and you'll really like it. So I think you'll be a little excited about that.
And a huge thank you to Our Lady of Wisdom School, or they're helping us do a bit of a pilot at the very end of this very busy time of year. So we're really keen on hearing their feedback around it. And then the other piece too that's really cool about this is if you've been using Literacy Place, moving up with Literacy Place, this is aligned to it. So this is sort of that next layer of getting in there and really being able to have a cohesive approach to reading development. So we're really excited about these two particular products. And so, okay, thanks, Joe. We appreciate all of the support that we get from schools. And again, what we're really trying to do is when we're looking at resources, just like Matthew Adventure, yes, there's Prodigy, there's other things out there that are, kids like. But the thing that we're trying to do with our digital resources is, especially if they're student facing, is how can they support that data assessment informed practice. So with Matthew Adventure, we know you've got, you can have students working at like all the way from grade 6 to kindergarten, right? And so you've got that flexibility to address some of those unique learning needs within our increasingly complex classrooms. And then it does some of that thinking work for you around, well, how can I sort of start to pull some groups to hone in on addressing some gaps in particular areas. So with both Reading Eggs, like Mathia and Digital Lit Pro Library, it's sort of those full meal deals where you've got that pre-assessment, you've got the ability to differentiate, and then you've got targeted intervention strategies that you get from a teacher's lens And then you get a reporting feature that aligns to curriculum or really good pedagogy. And in this case, LitPro Library, like Camille was saying, it aligns to those reading strategies around predicting. And so it's not just comprehension, like Raz Kids, it's fine. It's American, which is, you know, concerning, always has been concerning to us. But we also see that it just assesses based on a multiple choice question. And it just does comprehension. Whereas LitPro Library actually will help you hone in on, are they actually inferring? Because these questions, you'll get a data dashboard that talks about those reading strategies. So you can do a mini lesson or a whole class around inferring or predicting or synthesizing. So we really hope that these tools that we're looking at, these digital resources, will provide you with that ability to be really intentional about data, but also give you the tools and strategies so you can access the now what, so that you can continue to provide that
information
in
for
a manageable
teachers.
way, which is a big piece of it.
I just feel
So
like you
again,
learn these new resources and then, oh, surprise, there's a new one.
oh. So we have on here Reading A to Z, which you have access to. You've had access to for a few years now. And we just want to put out the caution that if you don't have this digital license, you can't use the print resources. And that's a really important piece, because if you get audited, your school gets audited, you will have copyright infringement. So if you are one of those schools that loves Reading A to Z, and we know we only have, honestly, based on our data usage, we've not proceeded with moving forward with Reading A to Z because the usage has been not very high. Teachers have gone in, I think we have a total of 10 heavy users in all of the district. And so that means 10 teachers are using this on a regular basis. So purchasing district-wide licensing just it's not financially responsible, but there may be some cases where you really do want this resource. So now that we've sort of taken a lot of the responsibility at a district level to purchase the district licensing, these are the one-offs that, you know, in conversation with your administrators to be able to do that. And I do want to address the comment that was made when someone had their mic on. I do want to just make sure that I remind everybody, the blessing and the curse of this new curriculum has been that we have had targeted funding to be able to implement a curriculum that we are uncertain of. We don't get a lot of notice, let's say, on what it is we need to provide supports on. So we do our best to choose resources to get you started. But then we also look at the usage data to see what is catching on and what is not. So things like Matthew Adventure, we are having about a 90% adoption rate, which is big, huge credit to the consultants and to teachers and to administrators who have been supporting that work and seeing the value. Yeah, like I said, there's always a better resource or something different. We hear them all the time, we vet them all the time. But the important thing to remember is we're being really mindful of what it is we're moving forward. But at the end of the day, teachers, you have autonomy over what you are choosing to use. And we've seen, again, with some of our programs, we've seen, upwards of 90% not being used. So we respect that, but we also won't move forward with purchasing it at a district level. So we're always in this conundrum where we're trying to make decisions in a really ambiguous, difficult space. But we're hoping in time now, once the newness of new curriculum comes out, some funding decisions have now been made. We're opening up this whole door of digital resources, which we've never seen the likes of before. We're being really intentional about what we are providing you. And that's why the resources snapshots are going to be really important, because it will take revisiting, because you can't do everything at once. And we want to make sure you're giving yourself grace. This is not something that is being forced on you. This is something that is available to you if you see the value. And so please continue to walk alongside, be open to it, but know that it is shifting because that is the reality of the current situation we're in. So I just wanted to be super transparent, and those of you that know me, you know I am. But I also want you to know that you have autonomy as professionals to be able to decide what resources work for you, so long as they're aligned with good pedagogy and good teaching practice and help you to differentiate for all of those different levels of learners. So those are the spaces that we live in order to support you. But they're a buffet, and don't overeat, because again, you will get frustrated and you will get a sore tummy.
And just finally, we know that it has been a lot. To Lynn's point, there's been a lot coming. So I have created a quick little 30-minute video of K-6 curriculum and the resources and the templates and any planning that we have done over these past 2 years, because this is my final year for new curriculum. So just wanted to kind of have a 30-minute, here's quick little video review of everything that has happened in this past 2 years. And I think that's it for us.
And to this point is like, start with what you know, because you're doing a lot of really great work. And then these are the things that you integrate in, but be confident in that work. And so big thank you to Kim for the last 2 years in supporting new curriculum. It's been a ride. And we just really appreciate the work you've done, and also the support of our teachers who walked alongside you and guided you in that process as well. So big thank you to you for that. And yeah.
Okay, French immersion. Salut à tous. Keeping in mind our big rocks always are the neurolinguistics approach to oral communication through explicit and systematic oral instruction and patterns, engaging students in interactive and dynamic classrooms full of movement, and vocabulary-rich environments with a focus on academic vocabulary that will help students with reading and writing skills. I just wanted to start with 3 really important reminders that I hope you bring back, reminding your teachers and colleagues. The first one, on the NCIS website, on the homepage, at the very bottom of the left, there's a French Immersion Collaborative Resources. That's where you will find links to Edmonton Public's free resource hub, Edmonton Catholic's Curriculum Crates, CBE's Structured Literacy Program, and Edmonton Catholic's Trust d'Évaluation for FILAO, which gives teachers access to a huge number of 1-point rubrics for all organizing ideas in the FILAO program. The second reminder is how valuable ARPDC is, and just to make sure that teachers are going back often, because they often will put new material that they've made, new resources, videos of sessions that they've had, but not only in FILAO, as long as the teachers are on their French screen, if they go into Mathématiques and Sciences, they will find a plethora of resources, especially some videos and slide decks that have made out for science. And then the last one, did you know that French Immersion has its own, what do we call them, playlist on the CSSD elementary channel. So on the playlist, it has recordings for how to use all the resources that we've gone through this year, including Pratique Phonemique and how to teach with Decode and a number of other ones. I just highlighting the resource Progression Graphémique because the structured literacy, there's such a big focus with structured literacy in this new curriculum, which integrates the science of reading findings on the best methods to teach basic word reading skills in the classroom, ensuring that all children learn to read. It's explicit, it's systematic, and it's progressive. And this resource helps to put it all together for teachers. So it really helps them fulfill a lot of the expectations in the new curriculum. All right, some exciting updates coming soon. At the start of the year, we purchased Decode Series 1, which is 6 different levels, 6 titles per level, and we purchased 6 kits per school. Yeah, thanks, Mary. We also purchased Les Décodables de Scholastique, and there are étapes 1 à 20, and so schools have already received 1 à 15, and 16 to 20 have arrived. Slow down, Mary, you're ruining my surprise.
Spoiler alert.
The 20 have arrived in the IMC and are being cataloged. Next slide, please. As well, we have purchased Series 2 of Decode, which is an additional 6 titles per level. And these are consolidation titles. So Series 1 is, it's got the clues and the legends for each book, whereas Series 2, they follow the same correspondance grapheme phoneme, but they don't have the clues and the legends. So it's just used to consolidate their learning and have a lot of extra practice. We've purchased the 6 kits as well as digital licenses for each school. Also purchased our comprehension and inference kits. There are 72 cards per kit, 1 to go with each and every title in Series 1 and Series 2 that help the teachers ask questions and have conversations with students and help the students to make inferences on the stories. And we also purchased Les Ateliers Decode, which can be used for centers to keep students engaged and help retell what they've read. And the most exciting news of all, Les trousses d'évaluation have been purchased. There have been 2 for each school purchased. They will arrive in the fall. And we're just so happy. This is what we've been waiting for to help teachers, kind of guide teachers to where's the best place to start their students with their decoding skills. Also exciting news being purchased is a plethora of games and activities to create IMC kits that are going to have the theme of syllable structure, sound recognition, rhyming, alphabet skills for Division 1 at all sorts of levels. So this will also arrive in the fall, and more information on how to access these will come at that time. And just to give you a quick update, the Division 1 transition guide has been completely updated. So your links and resources are up to date on this document. And Division 2 is almost built out. So teachers can already access curriculum and long-range plans on this document, as well as the reflection tools. And we'll continue to build that out as resources are purchased. The reflection tools for Division 2, grades 4 to 6 are complete. They're on the transition guide, and they will be placed on NCIS very soon. And finally, for progress report STEM Bank for grades 4 to 6 will be complete very soon. 4 to 5 are done, and I'm almost finished with grade 6. And once they are, I will have them on NCIS as well as the transition guide, so that teachers have access to it for making their progress reports now. And I just wanted to leave you with 2 important sessions that are being offered or have been offered with ARPDC. The first one has already come and gone and is already posted on ARPDC under French Immersion Resources. And this is in Survol, a deep dive or a closer look into the new 4 to 6 PhilAl program. And all 3 sessions were recorded and they are posted there, as well as the slide decks, which have a ton of helpful websites, tools, and resources. definitely worth checking out for your Div 2 teachers. And coming up very soon in the summer is also a 4-day summer institute, just in the mornings, 10:15 to 11:45. And that's for the new grade 4 science, 4 to 6 science in French. Explore the new science curriculum, discover resources, and find examples of integrating science vocabulary with French concepts. So you can register here, or you can go to ARPDC under Les Sciences, and you can find the registration link there. And that's it for PhilAl.
Thanks so much. And you have a question in the chat.
Compréhension et
Awesome.
Pirates have been sent out. Not yet. They haven't been cataloged yet, but they've arrived and they're all in the cataloging process.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thanks,
Danielle.
Karen.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome from your math team. We are ready to get cracking and giving you some nice updates for math. So we'll start with our hot tip in math. We've been hearing a lot going into schools about teachers needing more math practice, just some more practice for students. And also on the other hand about they can't photocopy anymore. They need something that doesn't involve photocopying. So I have a good little tip for you here. So on the New Learn Alberta site, and some people have come into PGs and have seen us do this, there are actually Jump Math PowerPoints. They are for all grades K to 6, and they are in English and French as well. So if you go to the New Learn Alberta site,
Make sure
you're logged in and then go to the site. You will remember going and looking for that little learning outcome, hovering over it, it turns green and the little eye pops up. So you want to look for that little eye, and then that will take you to the resources for specifically for that outcome. So once you get into the Jump, you just choose Jump out of those resources. You will get a teacher's lesson plan. You will get an example questions you can write on the board, Blackline Masters, and also these digital lesson slides. So if you click on a lesson, it's going to look like this. This is a grade 1 lesson. And then up in the top corner there, you can see are the digital lesson slides. That's what you're looking for. If you click on that, it will download the PowerPoint to your computer and you can put it right up there. So for Div 1, you can put the PowerPoint up on your smartboard or your loft, and then kids can just answer orally, or if you want them to use a little notebook to doodle in, or if you have whiteboards in your class Div 1, you can use them for that as well. So I have a couple of pictures that I snipped from PowerPoints just so you get a bit of an idea. So there's 2 little examples right there. So like which one of these is a square, grade 1s, and you can talk about why this one of those pictures is a square, or filling in if you're counting by 5s, filling in the missing number, just saying that as a group. In Div 2 is similarly, all Div 2 teachers in September got a class set of whiteboards, so we can get those out if you're not using them yet, or if you are, they'll come in handy. So instead of photocopying, you'll just get little questions like this that you can put up on your smartboard, and you can have a math discussion, or you can have kids answer on their whiteboards, and then everybody holds up their answer when they're ready. And it's just a good way to get kids practicing without having to do more photocopying. So that's our hot tip. And then moving in just that quick, I know everybody's seen this slide before, talking about the architecture of the new curriculum. So remembering that the learning outcome, of course, is what we're assessing and reporting on. So then when we get to those knowledge, understanding, skills, and procedures, that those inform the outcome. They're the things that we can actually teach so that we can assess the outcome overall. They're not actually a checklist. But one thing that you would have noticed, or you may have noticed getting into this curriculum, there's a lot of verbs. So we have something we found that might help with that. So if we go into verbs, like, for example, like express and explain, you might, what actually is the difference when you're teaching math between express and explain? So we have something that we can help with that with. So the ARPDC came out with these verb toolkits, which are really great. They have a bunch of different things in them. They have just a strict glossary. If you just want a quick definition for yourself, what does this even mean? The glossary is there, but also some little PDFs like you see in these pictures. If you want to put those on your math word wall, you can actually add those in. And then we have one for Div 1 and Div 2. So if you go on to NCIS, you'll see that there. And then the ARPDC also made up these curriculum planning and assessment resources. And so what these are great for is for illustrative examples. So many of us, especially in Div 2, are teaching things we might not be that familiar with. So these actually come in really handy. So they created these for K to 6. So there's more in Div 1 because they've been creating them since last year. Div 2, they're adding to them. But this has things like that shows you the curriculum. It shows you achievement indicators, like how will you know if the student actually achieved this outcome? They actually have those there, as well as links to activities that you can use. So these are what's been posted so far. I've updated the NCIS site with, so those are there, but also I put the link to the ARPDC so you can go back and check if there's one you're looking for that isn't there yet. They're adding to it all the time. So what it looks like, you can see the grade 2 statistics is right here. Might be a little bit small, but what you have, you've got the outcome at the top, you've got the cusps along the left-hand side, then you have your achievement indicators, and then illustrative examples or an explanation of how can you explain this to students. So it gives you actual language you can use. And then on the right, you can see links to little assessments that you can use. From grade 6, I picked coordinate geometry to show you. So again, we've got the outcome at the top, cusps along the side, achievement indicators, illustrative examples. So when we're talking about a coordinate grid, what is that? And then assessment links on the right-hand side there. So I thought that might be handy for you. Math the Adventure, everybody's favorite program. So Math the Adventure has data, like we all been hearing about the data. I know I've talked about that to everybody a lot this year, but you have access to it. So if admins, if you want to see how your school has done with math this year, how much gameplay have your students had? Are there any specific strengths or weaknesses you might be able to find among that? So you can find that in your data. So you just need to log into your Math the Adventure account. You're going to see a dashboard like this that tells you about the gameplay and the assignments created and that type of thing. So if you admins don't know how to get in and see your data, please send me an email and I'll help you out with that.
And just to add in for admin that are here, on your school plans, one of the areas that you'll be looking at includes current data. And so this can be used around the student success priority as part of your foundation for year over year. Again, like I said, with Mathia and Mathology, we've got multi-year licenses. And so you can kind of use this over a period of time to see where some maybe emphasis might be or some additional PG around this work. And so that's available, this dashboard. I know I gave most of you paper copies this year, but you have access to this right now. And the important thing is to remember you need to do this before the end of this school year, because it all gets wiped out and you start over in September. So please make sure, admin on the call, you take time to take a look at your data, capture what you need, so that you have that set up for when you dive into your school planning in September, October.
Thanks. Okay, and I know Danielle mentioned this already, but elementary consultants do have a YouTube channel. So you don't know, I put the link right in here. This is where we put a lot of our recordings for our PG sessions. So you'll see I actually just linked here the 2 PG recordings I made for this past PG session. For Div 1, I dove into Mathology Little Books, how to find the digital Mathology Little Books and what was in there, as well as the Zorbits Math the Adventure platform. And for Div 2, I dove into Mathology.ca because all of Div 2 has that, as well as Math the Adventure, Mathstoria. So if you're interested in any of that, you can put me on double time and listen to me like Mickey Mouse, but you'll get the information. So that's all on our YouTube channel. Sorry, I just threw that in. So the other thing to let admins know, the math classroom activity kits, some schools actually purchase this. If you purchased it and you love it or don't love it, please throw something in the chat, let us know. But these are essentially kits, just like our Mathology.ca, but in an actual physical form, so you don't have to go in digitally. You get boxes that you'll then have forever. So there is a bit of a spring sale on, it's 25% off if you're interested in that. I put the information for Crystal Dahl, the Pearson rep who we work with, right there in the slides, but feel free to email me and I can go through that as well.
Oh. And I just wanted to add in, we did put the math activity kits for grade 1 and 2 into the resources guide as optional school purchase. And we did that because the digital license required a lot of photocopying, a lot of teacher preparation work. And so when the kits came out, we recommended these instead of the digital resource. Again, there's pros and cons, but schools schools, if you need more information about this, please reach out. And if you're in a school where you feel your teachers could really benefit, but you don't have the scale of issue to purchase it, we do have a little bit of contingent for equity schools to support you in any of these resources. If you feel that there is a case for it and we agree, we could sort of work together on supporting those schools that we know have communicated that you're struggling with being able to build in that support for your teachers. So please keep that in the back of your mind.
Thank you. Okay, and these books confused everybody when we sent them out in August, but the practice books were meant to be a bridge from old to new curriculum. So they don't have everything in new curriculum. They're not aligned, but they are a good little bridging tool if you're looking for something, if teachers are looking for something for students to kind of bring it down a little bit and find some activities that would help. So we do have some left is my point of bringing this up. So I know some teachers, this wasn't something that they really used very much. And we heard other teachers were like, oh, I knew we weren't getting these again. I would have saved one for myself. So if you would like these, we do have some left at the warehouse. Please email me and I'll make sure your school can get some.
So I feel like I get to announce the most exciting news of our meeting. But we're really, really excited to make this big announcement for you today. We have brought a lot of teachers in to do Boxcars and One-Eyed Jacks PG with us this year, whether it be virtual. We did some sessions here at St. Paul in person as well. And the reaction was just so great. And so we really want to amp up the Boxcars stuff for next year. So every single school, I feel like Oprah right now, is getting this box. It's actually 2 boxes of Boxcars stuff. So every box includes dice shakers, dice trays, number lines, card decks, and like teacher card decks. You can go to the next one there. If you scan the QR code on your phone, you can see the full list of everything that's coming. Yes, thank you. Like, keep the emojis going. Put an emoji in the chat. How excited are you right now? Finally, I know. I know, we're so excited. What we really intentionally designed the boxes so that they're like class sets of things, like there's like 72 dice shakers and 600 dice coming to your school. Yeah, it's good. I love it. So it's not a lot of variety. It's a lot of a few things. Awesome. That's great. So every school's going to get this. They're literally on a shipping container coming to us right now. So they should be there certainly by the fall when we get going again. But we know that just throwing these out into schools and saying, go have fun with dice is not enough. So we are also bringing in next year COTOTs. So our friends John and Jane with Boxcars and One-Eyed Jacks are going to lead sessions in your classroom, live, virtual, with kids. So we're still working out the logistics of it. It'll likely be Div 1, Div 2. It will use the dice and the cards and the number lines and all the resources that are in your boxes. So we know every school has the same things going into these sessions. And then you log in with your kids and you get to play the games with John and Jane, which is going to be so fun. They've never done this before, so they're really excited to get to work with us, with Calgary Catholic on this. So yeah, I think I got the biggest reaction of all of our news. I'm stoked. It's awesome. So you can click again there. It'll be in LS Weekly. I'll send it out through distribution list stuff. So just watch in the fall for more information about the COTOTs and more information about the boxes that are coming to your schools. So
and the COTOTs, I just want to talk a little bit about the COTOTs. So the COTOTs are a way for us, we know with new curriculum, especially in Division 2, it's quite complex. And as generalists, sometimes we don't feel confident in the math. And so what Jessie has done is ensured that some of the key sort of learning that we know is foundational, important for kids, is part of then what this COTOT lesson will be about. And so again, please do take a look at those LS Weekly, because you can be learning alongside your kids as you're playing and bring the love and joy back into math, because we know this year has been very tricky and very challenging for our 4 to 6 teachers. And so again, we're hoping just to bring back the joy in math and make it fun, because we've learned it really can be fun. So hope that you're able to join us for those COTOTs. We have no limits on the number of classes. I know with the, what is that one we did with the the drawing ones.
Sketchnoting.
Sketchnoting, thank you. With sketchnoting, we know that we had, I think at one point we had 1,700 classes participating, and so we have no limit. So again, you get to walk alongside the experts with your class and with your students, so we can learn the math. So that's really, really awesome. So thanks, Jesse and Mary, for all your work in coordinating that order. It's a humongous order, but we're super excited to bring this fun into math classrooms. And finally, last but not least, I just want to give you some reminders about assessment and reporting. So many of you know, we've heard great feedback about our comment STEM builders. And so just a reminder where you access those on the NCIS site, under reporting by each grade. Oh, by each grade, you'll be able to see, if you click on it, you'll get your comment STEM builder. And for anything new coming in, that's where we'll be building out the science and the PhilAl for 4 to 6. But Jesse and the team are offering a PG session for those of you that just might want a refresher. So May 30th from 4 to 4:45, it'll also be recorded and on our YouTube. So sign up, because even if you're not there, you'll be on their list. And then they can make sure they send you out the link to the recording, okay? Again, most of you know how to use this from first cycle, but we know we've got some new teachers in your schools or people that have changed over the course of the last few months. So please know it'll just be a quick 45 minutes, being able to kind of give you an overview of how to do those, the new curriculum reporting. And really important for our grade 5s and 6s, we did receive confirmation from district leaders that this will be the final progress report comment that will be in your grade 5 and 6 mathematics STEM. So putting on here, because we know with new curriculum 4 to 6, we've been sharing with you, it's going to take a few years to bridge this gap. We're hopeful that with the field testing that's happening in many of our grade 6 classes, that there'll be some revisions to the math, but again, we can't predict that. But we want to just make sure that this is informing our parents in the progress report that due to curriculum changes and bridging new math in some content areas, students have been taught and assessed on their progression toward the grade level outcomes. And so there's a tips and tricks that is on our NCIS site, and I think I'll also link it into the follow-up email I send out to SETadmin, just so you have that information handy for any other questions that you might get around that reporting. But we do feel it's important that the assessment at the end of the year that you provide in math is going to be a progression toward, and that is your professional judgment. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to our elementary at CSSD and we can hop on a call and help guide you through that. Timelines looking ahead to next year, you can see, as we've talked about, the 4 to 6 science, the PhilAl, and then looking into our draft pilot for new curriculum in social studies. So our timelines document is available here for you, again, on the new curriculum site under the Curriculum Information Hub, the SIB. Then the timeline and all of the sort of support documents are there for your reference. As we said, there's points to ponder as well as some bright spots in this new curriculum. I'm not going to go over them. We did that last time, but I did want to bring to your attention, we've updated some of our social studies big rocks based on some of the feedback we received from our over 100 teacher who came to our PG session on getting curious about if they wanted to pilot our new curriculum, and we are draft social studies, and we have 77 teachers across K to grade 6 who will be helping to pilot and give feedback to Alberta Learning around the new curriculum in social studies. And so information has already been shared with that group. But we want to really be thinking about, as we do with all social studies, thinking like a social scientist, again, integrating historical thinking, geographical and diverse perspectives. Indigenous worldviews, so those are integrated within the work we do and not added on. So finding ways to do that in respectful, action-oriented ways. And then ensuring that current events, and we're making it not be a history course, but an actual social studies course. We're developing that social scientist lens where we are looking at current events to help inform the content that is being shared within the curriculum. So again, we are here to help. We ended a bit early tonight, so this is awesome. We have a couple of last things. So as promised, we have here for you the recap agenda, and we'll make sure that this updated slide is in the copy that's on the NCIS site. But we wanted to share with you that each of those sort of 6 areas we talked about today, here's some key speaking points. So we know that you often only have 5-10 minutes at a staff meeting with lots of other stuff going on. So we've tried to summarize the key points in each of those areas that you had some time now to have a bit more of a deeper understanding of, but so that you could have it as a bit of a guide and an anchor for when you're moving forward to support you in this next month of very busy work. And we have, oh great, and so it is in that copy on your slide, so that's excellent. And then just finally, we do take your feedback. Part of why we are shifting course for next year and doing divisional K-3 and 4-6 is knowing that you know, your feedback around we'd like it sort of divided out, and now we feel like we're in a place we can do that. So those changes are the things that we do look at your feedback, both positive and constructive. Please don't ever be afraid to share things constructively to us. It's how we learn, and that's how we grow. If we can, if we can adapt, we will. Sometimes we can't, but we do our best. So please do remember that we're here to continue adapting and responding to what we're learning as we navigate through this really ambiguous space at times, ambiguous, complex space, which I know is the work of education and the work you do every day. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I'll send out the recording to the set admin reps, but it also be recorded and posted on our NCIS site alongside those slides. And we'll stick around if there's any questions. If you want to unmute, we're going to stop recording. If you want to unmute and chat or answer any questions, happy to do that so you can take that question off of your plate.